So this will be a good test.
Okay, okay. So we got two recording options possible after this, and then we can see.
Yeah.
How'd you feel after frisbee golf?
Perfect, man. I was not sore, nothing. I was feeling pretty good. How about because usually my right bicep will be kind of hurt a little bit,
Mm,
but my training, well, I'll get into the fit quest in a second, but no, I was good. How about you?
right chest. Bicep was fine though, which was nice. So it went
Yeah.
to the chest this time, but it wasn't like huge. I noticed it when I worked out like 2 days later, basically,
Yeah.
which was nice. But I think I've been frisbee. It hasn't been as long since I've been frisbee golfing either.
Right. Well, it was 15 degrees and there was snow on the ground
I think
and
the temperature, yeah, could have played a part too, like for sure.
yeah.
Keep everything on ice a little bit.
Everything was a little slippery. I'm curious why I wasn't more sore because even though I don't play disc golf a lot, I had to. It was kind of a new movement because I wasn't rotating my hips as much. I was really using a lot of upper body
Hmm.
because of that ice and snow on the ground.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. You were using your upper body even more
Right,
too.
right. Um,
My legs were tired in my workout that day. Like they were still fatigued
okay.
from crunching and picking up through the snow and everything. Also
True, true.
played with Xena in the snow the previous day, but I don't think that was as much. But still, the snow has been making my legs like it's been a good workout though. My
The
legs
snow
feel
has.
pretty strong.
Do you wear heavy boots or do you wear like your shoes with the rope on it?
When it's here, I'm wearing boots. That's the other reason my legs get more tired. Yeah. When it's
I
here, I'm
think
wearing
so.
boots because um it's much higher. Like we got like an inch or two more than Franklin Park had, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you move your toes very well or your feet very well in those big snow boots? No, exactly. Mike is shaking his head for the people that are listening. And the reason, and so this is why I think people get more sore and stuff is because you're not using a lot of the small muscles in your feet, your toes that go up into your calves. And so your gait and everything is definitely changed in the snow. And I think you're not engaging the correct muscles that you're used to. So I think you get
Mhm.
more tired a little bit quicker if you're not used to walking around in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's totally what's happening. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
but my fit quest for today, my fit update is
Okay.
like the definition of the reason why I'm not sore from playing disc golf in the snow.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Because okay, of course I'm still doing my yoga, but literally I'm doing uh just a chest, a little bit of back, and it's mainly bands with for my back, and then biceps and triceps. Like so that's my workout. And I've been crushing it like probably 3 or 4 days a week. So like doing like my biceps were not sore at all from disc golf
Free
because
weights. Free weights, right? Free weights and bands.
free weights, bands, and a cable machine. Um,
Oh man, you know what? My favorite thing to use at the gym right now when I go to the gym is like cable machine,
oh
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of want a home cable machine. I think that's
a two stack functional trainer is my favorite piece of gym equipment that I've never owned at home because they're pretty expensive.
yep.
But I have a single stack
Yes.
cable machine that I can load that's plate loaded, and honestly, dude, I that thing is awesome. It might not be as smooth as a commercial, really nice like two stack cable machine, but I can do most stuff on it.
You know what I just thought of that I think like I think I might do. I got to try and I might write this down. Have you seen those flywheel cable apparatus at
Yeah,
all
yeah, 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 yeah.
that
I've
you
seen them. I've
clip
never used them though.
that you can clip on to things?
Yeah, yep.
So think like something like that. There's different kinds too. Like you they don't now they can actually get them that you don't have to, you know how the flywheel you have to push kind of hard and then it releases and then you have to push kind of hard and then it releases.
Right.
They've got some that are nice and smooth that feel like the free motion almost.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, and like you start with one and a gymnastics ladder. You know, a gymnastics ladder.
Yeah.
It's got all those poles on it,
Hmm.
so you got all different height adjustments and like angles that you can attach it to on the ladder.
Ooh,
You following?
I do. That would be fun.
Yeah, and then you can get one. You can start with one flywheel, cable flywheel, and that can be attached anywhere. But then you can get another cable flywheel, and put it anywhere as well.
Th- There's a really popular manufacturer of those. They sell like a two pack that I've looked at and almost bought, but it's still like $900 for
Yeah,
two of those flywheels.
yeah,
When but I mean a good functional trainer is 2,000 bucks. So a 900 bucks, and then for especially for somebody like you who is very mobile, or really anyone who wants to train more than one place, those little flywheels are really cool.
yeah, yeah. I say all this, but recently I've been doing like a heavy band rotation and row, kind of like a bow pull kind of pattern,
Yep,
basically.
yep.
One, because it makes it so I can do rowing without squeezing too hard with my hands because I'm still getting a little bit of like tendonitis in my forearm,
Ooh, okay.
basically, if I'm gripping too hard with things. So I'm trying
Right.
to keep it easy on that. But like, oh my goodness, the tricep and the upper back like pump from that
Yeah.
feels amazing. And it feels like I wonder if that's part of I do get a good amount of biceps with that too. Wonder if that's part of why, maybe same reason like you were saying, like I didn't feel my bicep as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true. And that movement is a rotation. If you think about it, that's a rotational movement you're doing right there. Because
Like the
I
boat
do that.
pole with the foot pivot.
Yeah, exactly. So you're pivoting and your body's kind of turning while your shoulder and elbow are coming back. I've used that a whole bunch of times. But you know what's funny? Now that I'm super into golf and I swing all the time, when I get into movements like that, it gets me in trouble a little bit.
Yeah, because
Because
close enough pattern, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I really need to be careful when I do that. So I tend to not do those movements anymore as much,
Can
but
you say why? Can you say why, like, what we mean by the, like, um, why can it mess with you if you get too good at that pattern, for example?
okay, I think it can mess with you in a couple ways, but
Yeah.
if you're getting good at one single pattern, for instance, if you're just doing that bow and arrow turn and you're twisting through, now when you move into a rotational sport like golf, maybe where you're bent over at kind of like a 30-degree angle, and then you try and put that in, it might help a little bit. But one thing that could happen is that if you do that other movement a ton on the cable machine, is that your muscles get used to that one specific movement. And when you add in like that 30-degree kind of hip hinge, that can kind of throw things off. It all depends, but for me personally, that's why it messes me up, is because if I do that too often, but I'm also hitting the golf ball, which I keep on stressing to people is a power movement. I
Mhm.
mean, you're swinging a club 100 miles per hour or more. Even though you might not think you're putting a ton of stress on your spine and your back, when after you've done like say the bow and arrow row, or I also like a chest press, like I call it like a punch chest press where I'm
Yeah, yeah,
twisting through
yeah.
and you're inflamed in your thoracic and in your core and in like your chest and upper back, and then you go to golf, you can throw some things off. That's like for somebody with a tricky back, that's like a recipe for disaster.
I think more rotational work in, like, the opposite position, like, that makes me think when people do that, they think that it can be just that and that can help. but you got to pay attention to the intensity. If it's if that pattern is it's a competing it can be a competing pattern, and you don't want it to be a competing pattern, I guess. And it can be a competing amount of load, I guess, right?
Right, right.
So like if you there's a certain amount of load that will help, and there's a certain amount of load that will hinder. And it's a fine line, basically. And then there's a certain amount of similar patterns that will help, and there's a
Right.
certain amount of similar patterns that will hinder, basically.
Yeah, like if you are a super stiff person and you've never trained any rotation, if you start doing like thoracic mobility combined with like the movements we're talking about on the cable machine, I mean that should be initially a like a it's kind of a super boost for you. But I think if you do that for years, like when you've been training for 20 years, when you've been training for 10 years, things are just a little bit different than the first couple of years. And the first couple of years, like you can crush it by doing these things, and it will probably increase like whether you're throwing a disc or playing golf or whatever, it'll probably increase your distance and speed. But then over the years is when you got to kind of try and reel it back and make sure that you aren't developing bad patterns in the gym that kind of mess with your bigger goals if your bigger goals are golf or
Right.
whatever that may be. I know I always talk about golf, but I love golf, and that's the thing.
I think that's great. I like that you're like leaning into it. You know, we were talking about that while we were frisbee golfing, basically. You
I
know,
go ahead.
I think that's the way. That's the way, Josh. This is the way.
Well, you have to kind of minimize what you're doing if you want to get good at stuff. Like I think when you're young, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about at disc golf, but like when you're younger, you try a bunch of stuff. Like and I think it's awesome for kids, you know, up until they get 18 or 21, 20 or so to not specialize. Like so to really try a bunch of things. But when you get 40, 50, 60. I mean, I can't go out and play basketball on Wednesday, you know, golf 18 hole, like do something, a ton of different things all the time. I really try and specialize. And so I am leaning into certain things, like golf, and I try and keep it to like 3 to 6 things every year. And those are kind of like my big goals, or I don't even like to call them goals. They're just kind of like my end of the tunnel, right? The light at the end of the tunnel. And yeah, I do lean into golf because golf gives me everything. It's like it's a meta activity, if you will. So I get exercise. It's a ton with mental. I'm reading Zen Golf right now. And that is a good correlation between a lot of my meditation training I've been doing over the past like 5 years. And it has a lot of golf specific stuff. So it really works my mental game. So let's just wrap it up. If you are choosing like 3 to 6 things a year to like focus on, like try and make them like more like meta activities or meta skills so that it builds a whole bunch of stuff at once.
I call those keystone habits with people a
Okay.
lot, but I might start switching it to meta. Honestly, meta's the N word right
Well,
now.
I learned that from you.
I know, I know, I know.
Um,
Um,
what are you doing this year? Why did we talk about that at disc golf? Like, because you're trying to figure out like a new thing this year, right?
just trying to. I was trying to finalize my like goals or vision for the next year.
Yeah.
One of the things I've had a hard time with, um, try, trying to say this in like a humble way, but like if you meet a goal or if you get to a goal, and for me, honestly, what's annoying is like if I get close to the end of a goal, I want to do another goal, you know.
Right. Right.
And but sometimes it's not that clear what that other goal is because I've accomplished this goal and now I'm in this like weird limbo state,
Right.
you know? And it's not that I accomplish all my goals or whatever, but like when I accomplish a goal, I have a hard time like visualizing the next goal a lot of times. I get stuck in that limbo.
Yeah, stuck in the transition.
Right. And the bigger the goal that I accomplish, the bigger the limbo it feels like.
Absolutely.
And man, around this time, and I haven't busted it out yet, and I just remembered I need to bust it out. I'm gonna get it right now. Hold on.
Mike is going to grab a book. Oh, he grabbed it. What has he got?
Okay, you ready? You ready? This isn't gonna be a surprise to you. It's called
Dan John.
Now What?
Okay, okay. So how does it
Um,
get you going? How does it get you moving?
so it's very tactical in terms of like for a coach how to design a program for a client after they've met their goals. Like now, what do I do? You know,
Right.
but it's also very philosophical because Dan John is all about like the fit quest and the hero's journey.
Yeah.
So like, see if I can find just a diagram in here. Here we go. One of the diagrams in here is a yin yang with like a triangle around it that is talking about how to match the demands of high performance and practice sessions.
Okay. Like in all around life, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So like immediately you can kind of see the parallels in all around life.
Right.
You know, like how to manage physical stress is what he's talking about and the
Yeah.
demands of high performance strength training. But physical stress can be quickly paralleled to like mental stress,
Sure. Absolutely.
you know? And things like that just pop up that are just gems. So good.
So now what? So now what, Mike? So
So now usually I have to talk about stuff to people like you and whatnot
and figure out what you're doing.
and figure out what the hell it is. Yeah. This year is really big ones like public speaking. I realized, I think when we were talking, that I need to put it into different categories, basically.
Hmm.
Which once I realized that, it kind of felt like duh because I have a couple like different resources that suggest putting things into categories that I haven't that I just glazed over.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
got like finance goals. I have strength goals. I have business goals, and I have relationship goals.
Okay. Where's your fun goals? That's an important one.
Yes, yes, I do have fun goals, and I forget about that fun goal a lot. Well,
Right.
but the fun goal does honestly kind of it feels like a subcategory of the relationship goal,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Sure.
Or
Sure.
at least for me, the fun goal, I think one of the problems I have is a lot of times like where do I put that fun? You know?
Right.
Is
Well,
it
it's probably attached to your relationship or it's attached to your strength training or it's it's attached to
Yeah,
something.
the only one of those categories that doesn't sound fun to me that I can't get fun out of is finance, probably.
Right.
Unless I'm making lots of money. Maybe then it's fun. I'm not at that point yet though. Um,
Well, stop making lists then, Mike. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yes. Stop making lists. Forget about all these categories. Get to it. Yeah, but I feel pretty good with them now. I feel pretty good now. I think a big one with my strength work, since we're talking about FitQuest, is I'm really trying. Hey, there's a dude.
Hey, we got a little guy in here. What do you need, bud? I have like 5 more minutes.
Who is Daddy? Who did this?
This is probably Oma's. Hey, in 5 minutes, I'm finished and then you get ready for school, okay? All right. Can you shut that, Alan? Thank you.
Yeah, they got to get rocking, right?
Yeah, just for everyone listening, this is a crazy week. Like my wife is out of town and the kids are off of school, but because of snow, but now they're not really off of school. They have like these huge crazy packets of each day has a whole page of stuff that like needs to get done.
Homeschooling for you, homeschooling homework.
Homeschooling homework, like tons of activities. And
Uh-huh.
then also they have calls like at 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock. You know,
Virtual.
so keeping a preschooler, like a 4-year-old on a call for 30 minutes or even 15 minutes is pretty hard. But anyway, they are they are knocking at the bits, what is it, chomping at the bits to talk to me. I knew
Yeah.
this would be probably a shorter call.
Yes. Yes. That's okay. Um. Oh.
Let's finish it
I'm,
off.
I'm trying to work on wrist work a lot. I'm trying to work on wrist mobility a lot. I'm
Okay.
trying to work on extremities. I'm gonna have like a bit of an extremity focus again for a little bit.
Okay.
So like wrist, ankles, toes, feet, neck,
Yeah.
that kind of thing,
Right.
and then work my way in strength wise because I feel good. I've been doing a lot of core work. I've been doing a lot of back work. I've been doing a lot of chest stretching. I've been doing a lot of like quads and hamstrings, but like the extremities haven't gotten that much focus, and I feel like I'm noticing it too
Okay.
in
Okay.
certain ways. So I'm gonna flip it a little bit, and I'm gonna prioritize uh, my extremities and then the large muscle groups, basically.
I like it. I like it. Um, I made a mistake. Well, so usually starting around Thanksgiving, I don't step on a scale for a while, and I stepped on a scale yesterday, and because like right now, like I feel so like I'm feeling strong, like I can do push like a good amount of push-ups, which I'm like, all right, so I must have a reasonable weight. You know, I'm like flowing through yoga like it's nothing. Like I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
So your
And then I
strength to weight ratio feels really good.
yeah, yeah, right. But I guarantee you I couldn't bench press a lot or anything like that, you know, like I'm doing pretty light weights with dumbbells and just mainly like some bodybuilding stuff, to try and not put too much. But anyway, stepped on a scale yesterday. I'm about 30 pounds over like my normal weight,
Oh
uh,
wow. Okay.
which is crazy because I feel good and I feel pretty strong. Um, so I don't know what's going on with that. But so
Man strength, Josh. Man.
so I'm gonna. It's annoying because in about 7 or 8 days, I'm gonna probably in February and March, I'm gonna do a little fat loss period. So I'll probably lose some of the good strength feeling that I have right now. But I just need to drop at least like 20 pounds or so.
That happened to me after I had that stomach issue.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but I feel so much better right now.
It creeps up. Oh, quick, because I started using Huel, and I think you used to use that back in the
Yes.
day.
Yes, yes.
And I've been doing the Huel greens and the Huel, basically like meal replacement shake, and my stomach too has been feeling amazing.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
ever since I started taking that, like maybe 10 days ago.
Okay.
So I really love that stuff. So like all around, I'm just feeling pretty good. And so it was very shocking. Like I'm glad I didn't step on a scale 25 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably would have been 10 or 15 pounds more than what I was. So that's kind of crazy. But you know, I'm excited for this year and excited to start training, you know, because I feel good and I just need to lose a little weight. So I like to have a goal like that. Like the fat loss wasn't a goal that I wanted to have to
Mhm.
deal with this year, but I have to deal with it. So
Yeah, I think like if you're gonna have an hibernation period, you have to have a fat loss period,
yeah,
basically. But I don't think either of them are bad.
yeah,
But like the fat loss one is hard because it's hard to come out of a hibernation period, you know? At least at the time you should. Like maybe if you've stayed out of it, stayed in a really long time, it's easier mentally to convince yourself, but then it's even harder physically the longer you stay in it,
I know.
you know?
And especially right now, it was -2 degrees when I woke up today. There's been snow on the ground for like 20 days. And, there's ice on the streets. So like to go outside and run right now is like I've gone on some walks, like put my boots on and walked around the neighborhood in the snow. But
Yeah, it's just gonna
going
be less frequent. Yeah.
but going on a run though, it that's when I kind of think of risk a little bit. Because on my snow walks, it's really almost meditative, because I have to be super aware of the ice and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And so I don't really want to run. I don't want to risk slipping or anything like that outside. Uh,
Right.
Man, I have so much to talk about because like last episode we talked about you gave me some instructions for the stair work.
Hmm.
So I've done like 7 stair exercises
Yes.
over the past like 25 days.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and it's super interesting. I've done rucking, so with a 20-pound backpack up and down. Uh,
Yes.
and then I've also done just walking, and then I've also done sprints. Like I'll do a 5 minutes of walking up the stairs, and then 10 minutes of like just running up and then walking down, running up, walking down. And then another recommendation you made was like basically walking down sideways.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And so I walk down sideways, and that's been really good. Like I feel this extra strength in my gluteus medius because every step, there's really this awesome balance that you have to do when you're lowering down. And so I think that's
Like
really
a pirouette, it feels like.
exactly like one of the, yeah, is that that's like the angled lunge you can
Yes.
do. Like it
Yes.
kind of, yeah, it feels like that exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think,
So,
man, stairs are amazing. Like I've been I haven't been into stairs as much recently, but like a large part of my like physical upbringing had stairs or giant hills in
yeah, yeah.
it. And yeah, there's just a lot. I think one of the reasons why I tore my Achilles is because I was doing something that was I was attributing my strength in my lower legs to explosiveness.
Hmm.
Like I was just attributing it to being able to do anything
Right,
basically.
right.
But like I was wrong because I had built like a muscular endurance density
Okay.
and not an explosiveness elasticity basically.
Right, right.
And then when I tried to do like super explosive
Like
things.
springy.
Yes,
It
yes.
didn't spring properly.
Yeah, well, because it wasn't trained for that really, you know?
Right. And I love that about the going up the stairs. Like my calves and what's that front muscle?
Tibialis.
Yeah, it was just on fire for like the first 2 or 3 times I did it. But
Mhm,
now I'm feeling good. And
mhm.
that is my reason that I talked about at the beginning, why I was not sore when we went to
Yes.
disc golf, because I've been crushing it with those stair workouts, and those directly correlate, I think, to hiking, which was kind of my thought process a little bit with it, but that's the same basic thing as walking around a course. So.
Yeah, 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 especially that course. That course has got some hills.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man, I got to wrap it up. Anything else today?
I like that, little full circle there too.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. We'll catch up soon. Um, yeah, I could talk for a long time, but we'll catch up soon.
I know. Maybe we'll release this short episodes. I think it was
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think that'll work. See how the audio works.
Yeah. All
Thanks
right.
for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Peace.
Deuces.